What's going on? How y'all doing? It's episode I don't even know what of the Black Podcast Show. I'm back at it again, and this week, if you're checking me out live, I'm a little bit late, but that's okay. The show must go on. Better late than never. Ain't that what Drake said? Or did he say never late is better? Hey, I'm on CPT. Y'all already know how I get down. I'm gonna do better though. All right, so today I'm gonna jump right into the motivation. Actually, today is gonna be like a classic Black Podcast Show episode because what I have for you guys. Matter of fact, let me just introduce myself and the Black Podcast Show all over again, just in case I got some new viewers or some new listeners that don't know what's going on. So, as y'all know, I am Shantae. My name is Shantae. This is the Black Podcast Show. And just so y'all know, this is literally the only podcast online hosted by me, your girl Shantae. On the Black Podcast Show, what I give you guys is three, sometimes four podcasts in just one. So in the time it takes some people to do four shows, I give y'all in the time it takes some people to do one show, I give y'all four. So I have a motivational segment. I give you guys some true crime, and then I also have an advice segment. And sometimes I do a pop culture segment or a review segment. Today I'm probably gonna keep it at just three because I got some motivation to give y'all that I want y'all to carry with you through the rest of the week. I want you to take it with you through the rest of this year. And you know what? What I'm about to give y'all, you might be able to carry with you for a lifetime. Cause this is just real talk. I got a true crime segment for you guys that's gonna knock your socks off. And this is actually the very first time in Black Podcast Show history that I have a saga. This true crime story that I'm about to hit you guys with is a part of a saga that I've been covering. So tuck yourself in, get ready for that. It's gonna be very interesting. And then I have some relationship advice to give folks. So I'm gonna jump right into the motivation right now. And I want y'all to receive this. If you're listening, I need you to open yourself up, receive this, accept it, and like I said, take it with you. The motivation for this week is coming from Grams and Scams. So that's a motivational app I have on my phone. It's, geared, targeted towards the urban audience, the urban community, the black community. So download Grams and Scams if you're not already hip. And they text me today, and it's so crazy because I needed it. They usually text me every single day with some motivation. And today it was so spot on. I almost felt like the creator just knew what I was going through. So the motivation that from Grams and Scams today is you can't expect to succeed if you only put in work on the days you feel like it. No kizzy. Get out here and get it. Whew. I don't know how y'all felt about that, but that was powerful. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm gonna read it again because you might didn't really receive it how I need you to receive. You might have really just felt it the way I need you to feel it. You cannot expect to succeed if you only put in work on the days you feel like it. No kizzy. Get out here and get it. No kizzy means no cap. No cap means no lie. So basically, that's facts. You cannot expect to succeed when you only put in work on the days you feel like it. You can't go to work on the days you feel like it. If you have a job that's a 9 to 5, or even if it's not a 9 to 5, if you have a job that has a time commitment, you can't just go when you feel like. You can't wake up on a random Tuesday and be like, you know what? I'm not going. And then say the same thing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It doesn't work like that. Because if everybody did that, that business wouldn't be successful. And if you only went to work on the days you felt like it, your paycheck would reflect that. The majority of us go to work because we have to. We have a job because we need to receive a paycheck. We need to receive some source of income. So, with that being said, we have to go on a pre-designated set time. I can't with me trying to do something that's different and other people can relate to this. If you're trying to start something or you're trying to propel something, you're trying to push something that's outside of the norm, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a small business owner or a business owner, whether you're in corporate, or when you're trying to do something for yourself. So with my podcast, I can't just, it's times I don't feel like doing it. As much as I do enjoy doing it, it's a lot of fun. It's something I'm passionate about. I love getting on here and being able to just express myself. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it. Sometimes I don't feel like doing anything. But the truth is, when you don't feel like doing anything and you still do it, you feel better. That's just facts. I actually feel good right now. It's so crazy because even just a couple of hours ago, uh, somebody told me, hey, what's going on? Like you can't get on your podcast with that energy, and I appreciate them telling me that. And the truth is, I feel so much better being here right now. But sometimes you don't feel like it. You don't feel like doing anything. But on those times when you don't feel like doing anything, you got to get up and do something. Whether you get up and take a hot shower, whether you get up and go for a walk, whether you get up and go to the grocery store. It's not good to wallow in nothingness. It's not good, but for so long. So I just want to throw that out there with y'all. You'll never be successful. You can't expect to succeed if you only put in work on the days you feel like it, and that's just so true. Because you got to put in your 10,000 hours, and your 10,000 hours is gonna come in so many different ways. So I know that if I'm at home in the bed not doing this, somebody else is. If I'm at home watching TV not doing this, somebody else is. It's another podcast out there that you guys are gonna listen to. It's other forms of entertainment. It only takes a couple of weeks for y'all to lose interest completely. Not y'all, because y'all loyal. But I'm just saying, for people in general, people lose interest in things. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. If you don't feel like doing something, just remember that what you feel isn't real. So just because you don't feel like doing it doesn't mean that you don't need to do it. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the motivation. And like I said, the motivation for this week is so interesting because I have been talking about a specific young lady on my show for what seems like months now. And that young lady I'm speaking of is Angela Van Dusen. So, if you have, if you are familiar with my show, if you watch it frequently, then you already know Angela Van Dusen is also referred to as Daddy over on TikTok. So Angela allegedly has a cult of BBW women over on TikTok. Y'all already know the story about that. If you don't, then go back in my interviews on my YouTube page and check out interview with Shay Jenkins and check out interview with former Daddy's girl Bella, and you'll get the whole scoop. But today, what I'm gonna be talking about is another situation that Angela was involved in. And I think that it's important to speak about it because, for one, it could help someone that is currently in a bad situation due to what occurred with Angela and that person. And for two, I think that with so many people invested in this alleged cult, it could give us a little bit more insight into the character of the alleged cult leader. It could give us the opportunity to determine if her past represents her present. And, it could give people the opportunity that are trying to say she needs to be locked up to say, okay, yes, she does, or, no, she doesn't, or, whatever. This is the court of public opinion. So it really doesn't matter what we think, but, it's fun to speculate. So let me first tell you guys about a young lady named Barbara McCarter. So Barbara McCarter is currently in the Heron Correctional Facility for Women, and that's in Michigan. and she is serving 8 years right now. Now, the reason Barbara is serving 8 years is because 4 years ago, in June of 2017, Barbara met Angela online. And from there, the situation kind of got crazy. Before I even get started, actually, the way I heard about this, just so y'all know, is from someone seeing my TikTok interviews and reaching out to me saying, hey, would you be interested in interviewing a lady who said her cousin is doing 8 years in prison because Angela accused her of rape? So let's just start there. Angela did accuse this woman, Barbara McCarter, of rape. The lady is speaking out for her cousin who is doing 8 years in prison in Michigan. So as soon as I saw that, I immediately responded back, absolutely. Shoot me over the info. So let me actually pull up the exact charges that Barbara was facing. But anyway, so Barbara McCarter met Angela online in June of 2017. Immediately, Barbara found herself attracted to Angela. So Barbara reached out to Angela. They began talking online. They became friends, and within a few weeks, they actually made it official. They became girlfriends. During the time that Angela and Barbara dated, their relationship, according to Barbara and her family, immediately became toxic and tumultuous. Angela was very jealous. She would get very angry. She would slap Barbara. She would cut Barbara. She was just always wanting to fight, according to Barbara. So Barbara says that because of other situations that she has seen and possibly been privy to, she never wanted to fight Angela back because, according to Barbara, she believed that if the police were called on her, they would have immediately assumed that she was the aggressor, being the masculine presenting person in the relationship, being the stud. So, with all that being said, Barbara pretty much says the relationship, like I said, was toxic. So, they moved pretty fast. I'm gonna say that because, like I said, they met in June. They made it official in June. But also, with things being so toxic, it brought out a really bad side of Barbara. A lot of the things that she and Angela went through caused her to feel symptoms of depression, and it caused her to, in certain situations, want to self-harm. Now, if you're familiar with the Daddy's Girl story, then you'll already know that this is something that Angela actually likes. This is something that's common, rather, for people that deal with Angela, is to be made to self-harm or to be told to self-harm. According to Barbara, she would sometimes say that she was going to self-harm, but she never did. Now, I'm not sure what the situations were that caused her to want to self-harm, but like I said, that's something that is common for people that deal with Angela. So, on August 21st of 2017, it was Angela's birthday weekend, and Barbara went out to Watergate, Michigan to spend the weekend with Angela. So Barbara and Angela did not live in the same city. They lived about 30 minutes away from each other in the car, but there was no way to take the bus to each other's house. So whenever Barbara and Angela wanted to spend the weekend together, Angela would go pick up Barbara, and they would spend the weekend at her place out in Waterford. Uh, so this particular weekend, on a Saturday, Angela goes to work that morning, and when Barbara wakes up, she notices immediately that her phone has been moved. So she eventually realizes that her phone is on the charger. And she just thinks to herself that Angela must have saw her phone hadn't been charged the night before and put it on the charger. No harm, no foul, no big deal. So Barbara goes and washes her face, brushes her teeth, shit, shower, shave, getting together in the morning, and she gets a phone call from one of her best friends, Kim. So when Kim hits her up, she's like, hey, you need to get your girl in check. And you need to tell her to quit texting me all this nonsense and bullshit. So Barbara's kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? What's up? What's going on? Kim tells her that Angela has, after seeing some of the messages between Barbara and Kim, Angela has called Kim and accused Kim of sleeping with Barbara or trying to steal Barbara from Angela. So immediately Barbara is annoyed, but she assures Kim that she will go ahead and take care of the situation and that she's going to speak to Angela and put an end to it. All good. Soon as her and Kim get off of the phone, Angela calls. And right off the bat, Angela lays into Barbara with the accusations. She is telling her that she needs to stop talking to Kim, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. So Barbara is pretty much like, hey, I don't know what's going on with you, but just chill. It's not like that. She's trying to calm her down. Angela is not wanting to hear any of it. So eventually she and Angela get off the phone. Angela comes home on her lunch break and they immediately continue to argue. Angela grabs Barbara's phone, sees that, and she said that she saw some text messages between Barbara and another friend of hers, her male best friend. And so Angela's telling Barbara that she needs to stop talking to this guy. And Barbara is saying that she didn't understand why Angela was asking her that or telling her that because this has been her best friend since she was 4 years old. So Angela and Barbara go back and forth. They are just having it out. And eventually Barbara says, you know what? Just take me home. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to be with you. Just take me home. Angela says, I'll take you home when I feel like it. And she leaves back out to go to work. Because at this point, she's just on her lunch break. So it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Her and Barbara are continuing to argue via text message. They're continuing to argue via phone call. And eventually Barbara tells Angela, listen, go ahead and come take me home. Otherwise, I'm going to sell your tattoo equipment. Angela, I guess at the time, was pursuing a career in tattoos. So Barbara says that she's going to sell Angela's tattoo equipment. And that's when Angela sends her sister over there. Her sister comes to talk to Barbara. Barbara says she does not want to talk. She asks the sister to take her home, and her sister refuses as well. So following that, eventually Barbara just goes to sleep and says, she'll deal with Angela when she gets back. Angela comes home. She's still wanting to talk. Barbara's saying, hey, I don't want to talk. I just want you to take me home. Angela says, okay, I'll take you home. But let's just have sex one last time. So at this point, Barbara says, okay, of course. So Barbara says, okay. Angela tells her she wants to have role play. She wants to do role play sex with her. So the role play is supposed to be that Barbara is breaking into Angela's room and forcing her to have sex. So Barbara says she goes to get a knife. She uses the knife to pretend to break in. She points the knife at Angela. Whatever the case is, they engage in sex. But it's not the only time they have sex. They have sex a few times that night. They leave and go get some cigarettes around 1 o'clock in the morning. They come back home and go to sleep. So the next morning, August 22nd, 2017, Angela's on it again. They wake up and once again, Angela is asking Barbara, who is this person? Are you and this person involved? She still wanted to argue. Barbara's like, hey, just take me home. I don't want to talk anymore. At that point, she says that she goes into the living room, lights a cigarette, sits on the couch. Angela comes up behind her, according to Barbara, with a curtain rod. And just by sheer luck, Barbara happens to turn around at the exact moment that Angela is getting ready to strike her with this curtain rod. So the curtain rod does not hit Barbara, but it knocks the ash off her cigarette, she says. So she literally just barely missed it. So at that point, she grabs the curtain rod from Angela and begins to beat Angela's ass with the curtain rod. According to Barbara, she hit Angela like 6 or 7 times with the curtain rod before she stopped, and they just began to tussle. In the midst of all this, the police get called. The police knock on the door and, of course, announce themselves. Barbara looks at Angela and tells her to just be cool, to say everything's fine. According to Barbara, Angela opened the door and tells the police that Barbara just beat her up and that she's afraid. The police come in, they ask Barbara what's going on. Barbara says nothing's going on, everything's fine. Of course, they don't believe her, and they immediately arrest her and take her to the nearest precinct. Now, while in the car, Barbara states that she hears over the louds, over the speaker, them saying something about possible rape. But Barbara's thinking to herself, whoever that is, they're about to get fucked over. Not knowing that that was actually regarding her. So I'm about to tell you guys what charges Barbara was actually hit with on that day. Give me 1 second to pull it up for y'all. Because she got hit with 4 charges that day. And her family feels as though she was railroaded, to say the very least. All right. So Barbara Andrea McCarter, she got hit with 4 charges with assault with intention to cause great bodily harm, unlawful imprisonment, criminal sexual conduct, and assault with a dangerous weapon. Who would have ever thought that getting into a fight with your girlfriend would cause all that? If you have ever been in, and I know it's toxic, it is toxic, but if you have ever been in a relationship like that, you know that you get into it with somebody, you fight with somebody, but you definitely don't expect for anybody to end up in prison for 8 years. You definitely never ever expect something like that to cause this. To me, what Barbara said, I'm not saying that it wasn't a toxic situation, but that was light. You know what I mean? Honestly, that was kind of light. So Barbara goes to the precinct and she's immediately told to kind of sit tight, that they're going to have a detective come speak with her. So at that time, Barbara had never been in any kind of trouble before. According to Barbara, she doesn't even have any speeding tickets or parking tickets. She's never had any negative interaction with the police. So at this point, she doesn't think anything about them having a detective come speak with her. So once the detective comes to speak with Barbara and he lets her know what she's been charged with, she's immediately irate. And she's immediately telling them that's not what happened. And so the detective is like on some Law and Order type shit, just telling her that he doesn't believe her, that what he thinks happened is Angela wouldn't take her home. She got mad and raped her. Whatever the case was, Barbara ultimately was given a public defender. The public defender heard her story, but I'm not sure, maybe he didn't believe her, but Barbara says that there were several times during the actual court case that he should have objected, he should have said certain things that she wanted him to say, and that she basically just does not feel that he adequately represented her. Ultimately, Barbara did take a plea deal, because otherwise she was facing 30 years in prison for that sexual assault charge. So Barbara took a plea deal that gave her 8 years for those 4 counts. I'm going to say this. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there that day. I don't think anybody besides Angela and Barbara will ever know what happened. But what I will say is that speaking to Barbara, she still doesn't understand how all of this occurred. She doesn't understand why she's in prison for 8 years behind someone that she barely knew for 2 months. She doesn't understand how her whole life has been completely tossed, turned, and flipped around due to this woman she met on Facebook. It's also clear speaking to Barbara that she's not familiar with the legal system. She's not savvy enough to pull off some kind of sophisticated scheme or even to represent herself. And I don't say that most people aren't. So I feel as though she was railroaded. I do. And of course, anybody can be clever enough or charming enough to lie. But when I speak with Barbara and I hear someone that 4 years later is still confused, and when I speak with her, I also hear someone that has accepted the situation. When I speak to Barbara, her tone is not one of sadness or desperation or despair. When discussing the situation, there are times when she gets angry. There are times when she gets passionate, as if she's back in the moment. But ultimately, she sounds as a person that has accepted a fucked up situation. I'm still waiting for some more information. What we would ultimately like to do, what our cousin is ultimately interested in doing, is actually having Barbara's case reopened and trying to get her out of there. So I'm waiting for some documents like police reports, stuff like that. I've actually been speaking with Barbara from prison. So she and I have spoken on the phone a few times. And like I said, just talking to her, she seemed like she has a positive spirit. She really does. She seems like she probably is that fun type of person to be around. Um, like I said, she just sounds like she's kind of accepted the situation and that she is ready to move forward and, maybe get out. But like I said, due to lack of money, she did not get adequate representation because she had to accept a court-appointed attorney. Um, so what they want to do is get her case reopened and hopefully get her out of prison without her having to serve another 4 years. So this case will be spoken about again on here. I actually am going to have an interview with Barbara, but it will have to be pre-recorded. I probably won't be able to come to the studio and do it. So, but you guys will hear it. So, when that's available, I definitely will let you guys know. There is also a link to a petition, and I think there's a GoFundMe. So all that will be linked in the YouTube bio, in the YouTube description. So that if you want to donate to their GoFundMe, they're trying to raise some money to get a decent lawyer. If you know of any lawyers that might be interested in a case like this, if you know of any lawyers that might be, specifically interested in taking a case of a queer black woman, definitely reach out and I will connect you with her family. I will connect you with Barbara directly, and we want to try to help this young lady. At least, if nothing else, we definitely want to just get to the truth of it all. I'm going to say this. I'm not a detective. I'm not a police officer. So I don't claim to be able to say straight up that Barbara did not do it. She needs to be out. But what I will say is that from what I've heard, it's something that needs to be looked at. It's something that needs to be reevaluated. If this lady is spending 8 years of her life in prison for a sexual assault, that's just extreme. And I'm not saying that women don't sexually assault other women. It's pretty rare. It's a pretty rare circumstance. I don't know what Barbara has been through in her life that might make her do something like that. And I don't know, but I think that is something that needs to be looked into. So that is the story of Barbara McCarter. She is currently, like I said, serving an 8-year sentence in Michigan. The name of that prison is going to be the Huron. Let me see. Huron Valley Complex Women's Correctional Institution or Facility. So she's looking at getting out August 21st, 2026. So that's actually 9 years, because that's 5 more years that she would do. So yeah, if you know of any lawyers, like I said, that might be interested in this case, definitely hit me up. We will get you connected with Barbara and her family. And it just goes to show we have to be careful who we're dating. We have to be careful who we're talking to. We have to, not necessarily that we have to be careful, but we have to pay attention. And we can't move so fast. So in the lesbian community, a running joke is that we move super fast. A running joke is that you meet somebody Friday, by Saturday you getting a U-Haul moving in, by Sunday y'all getting married, by Monday y'all getting divorced. We gotta stop moving so fast. Lesbians, heterosexual, cis, whatever, whoever you are, slow the fuck down. Because it's no way that all of this happens within a 2-month period. There's no way a relationship should ever become extremely toxic within 2 months. 2 months is the honeymoon stage. 2 months, we still getting to know each other. 2 months, we still having fun. We're not going through each other's phones after 2 months. Absolutely not. I wish you would touch my phone in 2 months. No. But at the same time, you should not be in a relationship with someone after meeting them, within 2 months of meeting them. You should not be in a relationship with someone. And I'm not saying all this to speak negatively about Barbara, because I've been there. I have most definitely been there, jumping into something with somebody that I barely know. And it was a mistake. I'm actually just fortunate and lucky to have not ended up in a situation like Barbara did. A lot of us are, dealing with people that we don't know. We got to be careful where we are leaving breadcrumbs. We got to be careful who we are allowing within our energy, and we have to be careful whose energy we are absorbing, And as a matter of fact, you can know somebody for a long time and still be absorbing the wrong energy, still be absorbing negative energy. So just, vet the people you got around you. It's not worth it. This girl's life is changed forever. Possibly, I don't want to say ruined, because nothing is impossible to bounce back from, but this girl's life has been negatively impacted forever. So hopefully this will spread some awareness to Barbara McCarter and her case. Hopefully this will shed some more light about exactly who Angela is. Like I said, if you have been under a rock, this girl has a cult on TikTok right now. So this is 4 years later after she done got someone locked up. She has a cult on TikTok where she is allegedly making women send her money, making them cut themselves as a punishment. We've seen some of the text messages and the way she will go off on these women if they do things that she doesn't like. So I'm continuously gathering evidence. I'm not even necessarily gathering anything. People have been coming to me with so much information, and I appreciate it, because I never thought that I would be covering a case like this. So if you have more information that you think is important that you think is conducive to determine the validity of these claims, let me know. I think the shit is interesting. If there's anything specifically that you want me to cover, if there is a case that you want me to cover, let me know. Like I said, this will be a continuous saga as we try to get justice for Barbara, or determine if justice is needed for Barbara. All right, so let's get into some Tay talk. Let's lighten it up a little bit, y'all. Let's lighten it up just a little bit. I'm gonna give out some advice. And actually, you know what, y'all? Today I'm gonna do some relationship advice. And just because I feel like people need it. I hopped on Reddit and they recommended that I check out the relationship advice subreddit. So I said, you know what? After hearing that story, it is people out here that need relationship advice, and who better to give it to them? Like I said, it's your girl Auchante, host of the Black Podcast Show, only podcast online hosted by me. Y'all already know what's up. I'm highly qualified to give advice to anyone regarding anything. So as a matter of fact, if you have some advice that you need, that you need, hit me up. Feel free to drop me a message in my inbox. It will be completely anonymous. I got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I think you can send messages on YouTube. Matter of fact, you need to just hit me up at theblackpodcastshow@gmail.com. Let's do it just like that. Moving forward, when you need advice and you want to get advice from myself as well as my listeners, my commenters, go to theblackpodcastshow@gmail.com and email me. You can send it from an anonymous email. Either way, it will be anonymous, and we're going to get you right. Capiche? Let's do it. All right. The first relationship advice question comes from a throwaway account on Reddit. This person says, everybody is mad at me because I, an 18-year-old male, don't support my ex-girlfriend, an 18-year-old female, on coming out. And now she just told me something else crazy. I don't know what to do. Excuse me. All right. We're going to call this guy Joe. Joe says, I posted about this issue a few weeks ago, and now shit has gotten more complicated. It feels like life just decided to say, fuck you. Here's more for you to deal with. I can relate to that, Joe. He says, I'm even more lost about what to do. My ex-girlfriend, an 18-year-old female, cheated on me a while back and came out as gay. She got with the girl she cheated on me with, and they've been together for a while behind my back, and according to her, going out with me was all to see if she was into guys or not, since she already knew she liked girls. It still has messed me up, and I hate her so much. Everyone, like even my parents, were fully supportive of her, and I couldn't take it anymore. I left to go stay with my cousin who lives an hour away, so it was perfect to get away from everybody. My parents wouldn't leave me alone because my ex hasn't stopped wanting to reach out to me. She called me from a different number. Finally learned the reason she hasn't stopped trying to reach out is because she's pregnant. Our relationship ended like 3 months ago, but she's like 4-ish months or something around there. I'm so fucking stupid, and I hate myself for not making sure the condom didn't break, because now we're here. My ex was crying the whole time. She kept saying she was sorry for hurting me, and she knows it was wrong to cheat, but she didn't know what else to do. I don't know. Maybe don't fucking cheat. I don't know what to do now. I don't ever want to see her again, but it's my baby. What I ended up saying was she can get an abortion, or maybe give the baby up, or keep it and take my money. But I can't have her in my life. So she'll be on her own. At the time, I was mad when I told her she's on her own and hung up. Now I'm thinking about it, and I don't know what to do. I'm still hurt, but now there's a baby, and that means if she has it, I'm stuck with her, which is the last thing I want. Don't think I could be part of this because it's too much. What the hell do I do now? Man, Joe, that's a crazy one. That's a heavy situation, bro. What I'm going to say is I'm going to call old girl Sarah. I'm going to call your ex-girl Sarah. Sarah sounds like she is a drama queen. She sounds inconsiderate. But she also sounds like a young confused teenage girl. Y'all are 18. It doesn't actually say how long y'all was together, so I'm kind of curious about that because Joe, you seem pretty fucked up behind this shit. You really seem pretty messed up as if y'all was together for like a year or longer. Regardless of the time frame, I will say that it was it was wrong for her to use you pretty much. She wanted to see what she like guys, so she dated you, and it seems like y'all was having sex on a pretty regular basis. I don't know. What should you do? I'm gonna say that you did have sex with her, regardless of whether the relationship worked or not. At the end of the day, if you are confident that that's your kid, and I mean y'all can always get a DNA test, then you know what you need to do, Joe. You need to do the right thing. I get that you don't want to see her ever again. However, that's not an option. You're 18. It's time to man up. You was man enough to go over there and lay down with her and fuck her. So consequences come with that. Sex makes a baby. Not always, but it does. Sex makes a baby. It's a reproductive process. It's the reproductive process. So, Joe, it's messed up, but eventually you won't be so mad at Sarah. Eventually you'll get over the bullshit and you will have a reminder for the rest of your life if she has the baby. But that's it. You just gotta get over it. You might not ever want to see her again. That seems dramatic to me, but you will. Your ego is hurt right now, and you gotta just eat that. You'll be okay. She cheated on you. You're 18. You would most definitely find another girl. There are, believe it or not, billions of other women in the world. So you all good. I'm a jump right into another one. Like I said, Joe, the relationship I have for you is it's time to just man up. You can be her dad without being her partner. So you'll just have to try your best to co-parent with her. I think that telling her she can abort it or give it up for adoption is fair. But if she decides to keep the baby, you probably should just do the right thing, like I said. All right. Next relationship advice question comes from Doris Burke, thick as fuck. Reddit user Doris Burke, thick as fuck. Says, my girlfriend has no friends and is using me as an emotional crutch, and it's driving me nuts. I started dating my coworker. She's a sweet girl and is a shy, quiet type. She has openly told me on several occasions that she does not have any friends and struggles making friends. She self-diagnoses herself as on the spectrum, autism. Because of her lack of friends, she is heavily reliant on me for emotional support to the point where I believe it's unhealthy for the both of us. She constantly needs reassurance, positive feedback, and asks to follow me out even when I go do the most mundane things, such as grocery shopping or to a car body shop, and in general is reliant on me for the majority of her social interaction. She also uses me as an outlet to vent. Constant phone calls deep in the night that are an hour plus long, talking about how she got into a fight with her dad or how she hates the fact that she has no friends and how she feels misunderstood by most people. She's just using me as an emotional punching bag. I understand all this makes me sound like a massive asshole and uncaring, but please understand that that's not how I'm trying to come off. I would love to play the role of trusted confidant to an extent, but when you become someone's sole emotional outlet, it really wears on you. Obviously, I can't verbalize any of this to her as I'm pretty sure it would hurt really badly. I come off as an asshole to myself reading this. I'm sure it will come off 10 times worse to her. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would. So listen, bro, I'm going to call you David. David, you and this young lady, y'all need some space. It might come off as fucked up, but it's no way that you can say this. It's literally No matter how you try to sugarcoat it, no matter how polite you try to be, and I do think that you should sugarcoat it and be polite and tiptoe around her feelings for this conversation. But it most definitely needs to be had. In some way, form, or fashion, you need to say these words to her. Because otherwise it's going to end up with you resenting the fuck out of her. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to get to a point where you're so frustrated with the situation that you're going to hurt her feelings 10 times worse. Stuff like this, it comes out one way or another. Right now it's bothering you. Right now it's irritating you. But right now it's still at the point where you have control over the way you address things. So right now you can still get in front of the situation and make it right. If you allow this to fester up and keep going and allow yourself to keep getting upset and allow it to keep irritating you and to keep bothering you, you're going to explode. And all of this is going to come out in the worst possible way. You think this sounds bad? It's gonna sound worse than this if you don't say anything now. Like ASAP. You need to if you're hearing the worst that I'm saying, David, as soon as I get done talking, you need to go holler at bro. At sis right now. Matter of fact, turn me off right quick, bro. Go holler at her and let her know. Take the time to figure out what you want to say, but just tell her. And I think the best approach, maybe you can help her find some friends. I wonder why doesn't she have any friends? I think that's a bit strange for her to not have any friends, not even one. That's kind of weird. So she might need to get into some kind of therapy, or she might need to join some kind of Facebook group or something. But she needs to make some friends because that's not fair for you. It's too much pressure on you. And if that's not what you want, it's going to make the relationship deteriorate quickly. All right, what else I got for you guys? All right, let me hit y'all with an "Am I the asshole?" Let's keep it. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it classic. Y'all know how I do every week. The relationship advice was cool, but let me hit y'all with a "Am I the asshole?" Let's do it. This one is funny. It's from Reddit user illustrious arm 1445. God says, "Am I the asshole for sitting in the front seat with my friend and telling his girlfriend to sit in the back? We were heading somewhere with my friend and his girlfriend, and I called shotgun and ran in front of her and took the passenger front seat. My friend said we're not doing shotguns, and the front seat only goes to his girlfriend or his grandma when either one of them is present. And that even his mom gives up the front seat out of respect for the girlfriend and their relationship. I said, I don't care about that overdramatic stuff. I'm sitting in the front. He told me to either go to the back or he's not taking me. His car, his rules. His girlfriend stood there silent the whole time, but I could tell she was annoyed. I felt awkward, and when I feel awkward, my brain freezes. I told his girlfriend to go sit in the back and let the drama go. I sat in the front and told my friend to get in and drive. He told me to get out of the car and find another way to get myself to our destination since I have no respect. Am I the asshole?" I'm gonna actually just call you Jordan. And the answer is like Jordan, yes. Obviously you are the asshole. I don't even how did you even type that out and not be like, okay, yeah, and just erase it? You could have saved. I guess I wouldn't have had a good a good am I the asshole today then, huh? Yeah, Jordan, you're the asshole. It's more than clear you have no fucking respect. Like I can understand. I get it's actually funny as hell that you ran in front of her and said shotgun. Like nigga, who did you think you were? How do you not assume that his bitch gets the front seat? His girlfriend, excuse me, his lady, his woman, his queen, whatever she is. How do you not just assume off the bat that she gets the front seat, Jordan. Come on now, bro. Come on now. You ran in front of her. What I'm imagining in my mind is like Jordan being like shotgun and like pushing her out the way, elbowing her and shit, and just running to the front seat. And they looking like, no, nigga, it doesn't work like that. Jordan, you're the asshole. The fact that you are so, that you lack self awareness on this level is actually concerning. And then at the point when bro said, hey, let my lady sit in the front seat, bro, hop in the back. And you talk about, you talk about I don't do all that over dramatic stuff. Nigga, you're the only one being over dramatic. Get your ass in the back. Like, it's that simple. You talking about I don't do all that over dramatic stuff. Just get in and drive. Bro even had to say my car, my rules, and you still didn't fucking get it. Then his girl is still standing there telling you like get in the back, and you talking about I told her just get in the back. I felt awkward. You wouldn't have felt awkward if you would have just got your ass in the back in the first place. And then for you to tell him after he told you to get in the back, for you to tell him I'm riding in the front. No, you're not. I can't even believe I'm gonna call bro Steven. Jordan, I cannot believe Steven didn't fire your ass in the face. Honestly, I can't believe Steven didn't punch you in the face. I'm so serious. How did you not get punched in the face? Yeah, you're the asshole. And so we're gonna actually go ahead and wrap up the show with that. But real quick, I'm gonna jump into this situation. Y'all know I had to talk about this. This situation with Danny Lee and the baby has been all over pretty much all social media for the last couple of days. What do y'all think about that? I want to get y'all opinions first. And I would say I've been seeing a lot of people saying that the baby was wrong. I think that he was wrong to an extent. But also I think that there's so much that we don't know about the situation. I think that there's actually too much for us to say. There's actually too much that we don't know to say yes, he was wrong or no, he wasn't. Now, is he wrong for allegedly attempting to put a woman in her infant and his infant child out at 3 o'clock in the morning? Yeah. I'm going to say yeah for sure. I think that there's a time for everything. So I think, 8 o'clock, super appropriate. 8 o'clock would have been fine. He could have put her out at 8 o'clock in the morning, and nobody would have had a problem with that. I mean, she did ultimately end up leaving the next day sometime. So I think just the embarrassment was a lot. Seeing how, he was telling her, you ain't nothing but a side bitch. You a certified side bitch. You ain't never been my girl. It's kind of like, how far can being a side bitch really go? Because in response to him saying that, later on that day, Danny Lee posts all these pictures and videos and allegations of songs that's about her, and they have a baby together. So I don't know. I just wonder how far does being a side chick go. She says that they've been living together for the past 3 months. So at the point when y'all living together, but also we don't know the story behind that. So they were living together in North Carolina, which is the baby's hometown. But we don't know what the story is behind that. We don't know the story behind any of these pictures and videos and stuff. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that's so true. Because it may look like one thing, but it could be something totally different. One theory that I have is that this was one of those industry relationships. At least that's how it started off. Similar to my theory about Megan Thee Stallion and Moneybagg Yo. I think that was some industry shit. Similar to my theory about Dej Loaf and Lil Durk. And it's okay. I'm not saying nothing bad about these people. I think that their labels sometimes think of ways to drum up controversy. How can we drum up attention? How can we have this person go viral, this artist go viral? I think that DaBaby and Danny Lee at one point were in both in a space where it made sense for them to link up and pretend to be in a relationship. And maybe one thing led to another and they fucked around. we never know what the whole situation was. And now there's a baby involved, but maybe there was never an actual relationship. We don't know. Maybe they were friends and Danny flipped the script. Is it possible that she is suffering from postpartum depression? Sure. You know, I just feel like it's another situation with two toxic people, you know, going on the internet making a fool of one another. So it sucks, but I'm not just gonna say that the baby was wrong. I'm not gonna say Danny was wrong. I just think that they should not have got on social media with it. And I mean, I don't even come from a place of judgment when I say this. Definitely, I have been in some situations, y'all, relationship wise, but that was like something that just shouldn't have made the internet, because I wouldn't be surprised if they back fucking with each other in no time. What I will say is those pictures and those videos she did share, the way she looked at that man, it was love in her eyes for sure. So if he's saying that they was never in no kind of relationship, then he ignored any sign, any possible sign. Because just me on the outside looking in, those pictures, the way she looked at that man, it's adoration. You can see that in somebody's eyes when they love someone, when they adore someone. And just the way she looked at him, it was more than just a side chick for her. Now, that doesn't mean that that's what it was. Like I said earlier, you got to recognize the difference between what you feel and what's real. But, I definitely I think it was more than a side chick situation, but like I said, at the same time, we never know. We never know. We never know what the nature of that relationship truly was, what the conversations they had behind closed doors was. So a lot has been exposed over the internet now, but hopefully they can come back together in some sort of peace and successfully co-parent, because they do have a daughter together now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the Black Podcast Show this week, y'all. Like I said, don't forget the advice that I hit y'all with this week. Don't forget the motivation for this week. You cannot expect to succeed if you only put in work on the days you feel like it. No cap. Get out here and get it. And that's what we're going to do, y'all. We're going to get out here. We're going to get it. We're going to elevate one another. We're going to go to the top. If you know anyone that may be interested in being interviewed on the Black Podcast Show, please let me know. If you know of any true crime case that you would like for me to cover, please let me know. If you know of any, anything at all, you have any relationship advice that you need from me, any kind of advice at all, please hit me up. You can send all this stuff to the Black Podcast Show at gmail.com. And of course, I will be back this Sunday with another episode for you guys. It's your girl Auchante. It's the Black Podcast Show. See you next week. The Irie Place.